Bothell Hell House, Poltergeist, and the Disappearing Cross. I'll always remember the events of this day. It was the weekend that Captain America, the Winter Soldier, came out in the United States, April 2014. A month before the movie came out, my cousin flew in from Dallas, Texas, and stayed with me and my girlfriend up near Seattle, Washington, a small town called Bothell. My cousin had been aware of our ghost, so to speak, meaning she knew just enough to still want to come. To be safe, she brought a cross with her, a gift for me and my girlfriend, hoping that the cross would protect us. Written on it were the chapters Joshua 1:9, Phil 4:13, Psalm 28:7, and Matthew 19:26. Each verse spoke about maintaining one's strength, one's faith during troubling times. My girlfriend and I had been having strong poltergeist-like activity, so reading something like this was extremely helpful. When my cousin arrived, she handed me the cross. We prayed over it and placed it over our bed. That's where my cousin said it would protect us. Keep it above your bed in your bedroom. A month later, the cross went missing. Understand, missing objects, religious objects specifically, is not a new phenomenon in our house. Things get taken all the time. Sometimes they return, sometimes they don't. The items that do return are never found in their original spot. This cross would be no exception. The question my girlfriend and I ask ourselves when an item such as this goes missing is, what the heck is going on? I mean, we're talking about a sizable cross here. 6 inches long, 4 inches wide. It's not something you just misplace. How could we? We had nailed it above our bed, on the wall, and now it's gone. No use looking for it. Only 2 people are living in the house, my girlfriend and I. Fast forward to the premiere of the Captain America movie. It's Saturday morning. The cross has been missing for over a week now. I began doing my laundry early that day, earlier than usual. I figured it's best to get my chores done if I'm to go out to a movie later. I'm excited. I'm going to see the Marvel movie with one of my best friends. Let me get this laundry done ASAP. I began my first load of laundry, colored clothing. My girlfriend Tina, she's walking around the house doing her own thing. I decided to go to my office and watch TV, wait for my clothes to wash. About an hour later, I noticed something peculiar. My first load of clothing was still washing. Now I know there are long wash cycles, but this was weird. My brain knows how long it takes for my clothes to wash. I'm pretty sure I didn't set the washing machine to the long cycle. It's taking especially long this time. And that's unusual. I glanced toward the washroom, hoping to hear the beep. You know, the noise the washing machine makes when it's done. So I glance at the washroom and I look at the clock on my computer. I think to myself, what's taking my clothes so long to wash? A few minutes later, I hear this knocking sound. You know, the sound the washing machine or the dryer makes when something big is inside, like a shoe or something. The noise I'm hearing is coming from the washing machine. Once again, I glance up from my PC and look at the washroom. What could be making that noise, I wonder? At this point, the wash cycle had been running for nearly an hour, far too long for what I put inside. Normally, I would get up and see what the commotion was about. I didn't this time. I just kept watching TV. Finally, the washing machine beeps, informing me that the load was complete. Time to remove the clothing. I'm passive as passive can be. No hurry whatsoever as I was pulling out my clothes and tossing them into the dryer. I immediately grab hold of something solid. Not clothing, not shoes, not anything except a metallic wooden cross. I didn't know what it was until I pulled it out of the washing machine. And then there, in my hand, in 2 pieces, is the cross my cousin gave me. Now some might say, well, maybe the cross was in there to begin with. Not so. As I mentioned prior, it would have been heard early on. The thumping noise, I mean. The knocking noise. I heard it, and it began 15 minutes before the washing was complete. Secondly, the washing machine was empty when I used it. Some might say, maybe you accidentally put the cross in the washing machine when you loaded it with clothes. Wrong again. I sorted my clothing carefully, meaning items went into the machine almost one at a time. A cross this size was not going to be grabbed by mistake. Even if it was, I would have heard the bumping noise way sooner than I did. Maybe your girlfriend put it in by mistake. No, my girlfriend was nowhere near the washing machine that day, and I never left my office. The washroom sits right outside my office. She wouldn't stop my wash load regardless. I do my laundry, she does hers. It's important I get those particulars out of the way for fear of people gravitating towards the obvious explanation, and that's understandable. But now, allow me to paint the picture as near perfect as possible, because it hasn't even begun to get weird yet. But in my hand is the cross my cousin gave me. It took a sort of beating in the washing machine. It's broken up now. I then call my girlfriend to the room. We both examine the cross, top to bottom. Here it is again, after being gone for about a week. This cross would disappear and get thrown a few more times before finally being left alone. The Bothell Hell House poster fire. Spring 2014. Not that many poltergeist survivors can say they witnessed seeing a poltergeist flee the scene of a crime. By crime, I mean arson. But I can. One of the most horrifying events I faced while living in the Bothell home was the day the poster caught fire in my office. Recap. Tina and I had witnessed a lot of activity in the weeks leading up to the poster catching fire. I'm talking about bar stools being thrown. Our bedroom light was going on and off by itself in the middle of our sleeping. Loud bangs, loud footsteps, door slams. And yes, one Bible catching fire. All of that happened within a week of the story I'm about to tell. The advice given to us by friends and family was to smudge the house. The internet said the same thing. Smudging lessens the activity. Let me tell you, smudging never lessened the activity. Not in our house. It made it worse. This story is proof of that. The night before the poster caught fire, I asked Tina if she would feel comfortable smudging the house. Tina was an excellent person to do the smudging. She was more thorough than me. She could smudge every nook and cranny. And so she did. The next day we woke up and got ourselves ready for work. Nothing unusual about that morning, except the house was still smelling like burnt sage, which I thought was a good thing. Your house should smell like sage if you smudged the night before. I later found out that smudging before you go to bed can be dangerous. Extremely dangerous. I compare smudging before going to bed to kicking open a fire ant bed before having a picnic. Tina and I got up that morning and did what we always do. We got ready for work. The feeling of being watched had lessened. 30-odd minutes later of us waking up, Tina walks up to me and kisses me goodbye. Now it's just me in the house. The only thing on my mind right now is beating Seattle traffic. I gotta get out of this house and get to work. A few minutes after I stepped into the shower, it happened. The devil arrived. every fire alarm in the house starts going off. I'm standing in the doorway of the bathroom, half dried off, thinking, oh shit, it's happening. I knew right then that something was up. I didn't know what specifically, not yet anyway. Something is up though, and it's not good. I remember running through the master bedroom and reaching our bedroom doorway, and that's when I saw it. Well, felt it. I feel a large mass run right by me. I can't see what runs past me. I can only feel it. It was huge, taller than me, wider than me. All I could hear besides the fire alarms going off was this loud stomping sound. My eyes and ears turned toward the direction of the stomping noise and followed it downstairs. Suddenly, the front door of the house opens wide and is slammed shut. That is it. The door just opens wide on its own and slams shut. That's when my brain says, give chase, Keith, give chase. But I'm thinking, give chase to what? I still have not determined if someone was in the house. I haven't seen anything. The door just opened and closed on its own. What am I chasing? So I do what my brain says. I run down the stairs and I reach the front door. I should be able to get a good glimpse of the intruder as he's leaving the house. I throw my hand on the doorknob and nothing happens. The front door does not open. Correction, the front door does not budge, not even a centimeter. I must have fought with the doorknob for about 2 seconds before realizing that I had a fire to deal with. Smoke is billowing from my office upstairs. I run to my office and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There's the fire. The wall behind my computer desk is on fire. The poster, specifically. How many seconds have transpired between the fire alarm going off and where I'm standing now? 30 seconds. The first thing I do to kill the fire is toss my damp towel over it. The fire did not put up a fight. It was gone. I turn and I run downstairs again. The house is filled with smoke. I get to the front door and I try to open the front door again. Nothing. The door will not budge. This is the same door I saw open less than a minute ago. The doorway felt like it had been welded shut. The fire alarms are still wailing in the background. I can taste the chemicals from my burnt poster in my mouth, the smell in my nostrils. And that's when it dawned on me. The house isn't the one that's under attack. I am. Think carefully, Keith. The next few decisions could be your last. What are you gonna do? I was in shock at this stage because I remember the events vaguely at this point. Suddenly, I'm on the phone with the 911 operator. I'm screaming to her that my house is on fire. She's maintaining her level of professionalism, asking me in a calm voice,
"What's your address?"
Every time I utter my address through the phone, enormous amounts of static breaks out. I'm talking about loud electrical interference. We go through this, I can't hear you.
Can you repeat your address?
Routine for about 30 seconds. Finally, she gets my address, and in doing so, she lets me know the fire department is on their way. I hang up and call Tina. Thank God she answers. Tina could hear the fire alarm screaming through the phone. I blurt out for her to come back home, to come back to the house. The house is under attack. I hang up. The front door, for reasons I can't explain, finally opened. It opened within seconds of the fire department arriving. How ironic. The firemen dart inside, and at my urging, proceed up towards the office. They said I did a good job of putting the poster fire out. Tina runs into the house a minute after they arrived and grabs me. I was half naked and shaking like a leaf because all I could remember was Tina throwing blankets over me. I'm shivering and shaking like a wet puppy. I'm not afraid to admit that I was crying and quivering like a baby. You would have thought somebody doused me in a tub of ice water, cubes and all. That's how cold I was. The fire department never could determine what caused the fire. Tina and I knew, though. This is the second fire incident that we've experienced. Note, there will be 2 more fire incidents in that house in the coming weeks. When the fire department left, all Tina and I had now was each other. The demons who did this are still here. They're snickering at us. Whatever ran past me in the upstairs hallway had to have been some sort of ringleader. I'll always remember what it felt like when it ran past me, through me. Evil, diabolical evil. Neither one of us could think of a solution to our problem. The only thing left to do now is to contact the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church that, up to this point, has been ignoring us, giving us the runaround. It's the only logical thing to do now, right? Who else can help us? Tina and I looked at each other and we had reached the same conclusion. So, we're marching down to the local parish office, and we're not leaving until someone sees us.